At one point, I saw on the live broadcast, there was a promo for Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, I'm so glad you were still able to bring it up, even though...
Because it was so bad.
This made that Cockblockers promo from last season look like Godfather 2.
Absolutely. Welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
Put your confidence on, boys and girl.
Getting ahead of ourselves. Behind the glass is one producer, Patrick Hickey.
What's up, Baby Birds? I hated the episode too.
I didn't hate the episode.
You didn't?
We're not at general thoughts quite yet. There is a
I held off. I had
usually there's 2 hot mics in this room tonight. There's 3 hot mics in this room. We needed the female perspective tonight. It's a big episode.
And this will defend us against those accusations of misogyny.
Pat, do you want to talk about that real quick?
Oh yeah. A lot of people give us 1 stars and they say we're misogynist pigs, and that's fucking bullshit. And leave now, you idiots. But to show that we're not, we got a girl here.
Hi, I'm the girl.
Joining us tonight is one Kaiti Bennett.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited about this.
Now, you and I go back to the Upright Citizens Brigade. Mm-hmm. And Pat, how do you know Kaiti?
I knew her through kind of this live... Who gives a fuck?
Pat has very shady business.
I have very professional reasons for knowing Dylan and Patrick.
Yep.
And then I know Nick because a few years ago he slid into my DMs,
right,
commented on a photo of mine, and... that was good enough for me.
And now you're here.
And now I'm here.
And this is really important because you're also a huge fan of the show, but you're a huge fan of the franchise as well.
Absolutely.
We ask every guest, what's your history with the show?
I have been a Bachelor viewer for years and years. I since the original. The
original? Mm-hmm. The very first one?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Pat's way older than that. Nick, do you have something to say?
Yeah, I will say when I slid into her DMs, I found out we're kindred spirits because she has DM'd a number of Bachelor contestants, which actually inspired me to DM Yuki, which I have yet to receive a response from. But I love the tactics.
Absolutely.
And we'll see. I'm talking. Yeah.
Was this a sexual advance?
Mine?
Yes.
I posted the screenshot in our Facebook group to all the baby birds, and I said, can't wait to see you in paradise. Wave emoji, palm tree emoji.
I was talking about
smiley
Kaiti,
face with glasses emoji.
We have got
Clinky beers emoji.
We've got a lot to get to tonight. It is the finale of this season. The live 3-hour finale, which is, according to Chris Shitface Harrison, quite possibly the most emotional finale we have ever witnessed. You guys ready to get into it?
Yeah.
First, general thoughts. Pat?
First off, you motherfuckers. Bachelorette, Bachelor producers, ABC, whatever. You fucking turned this disaster into a 3-hour snore fest. And by the way, I almost clocked 45 minutes of commercials. They've never had more commercials than this. Every 10 minutes there was a 5-minute commercial, which I kind of appreciated because now I got to get through the show faster.
It was a little respite.
But, all right, this is what you do when you got nothing, and this was a nothing burger. Just cut it down to an hour. Cut it down to an hour.
Cut the finale down to half what the normal episodes are.
Exactly. If you don't got it, if you don't got the goods, then don't try and stretch this.
Nick, what were your general thoughts?
We're all on board. There were some good parts, some quality TV, but it should not have been 3 hours.
Didn't need to be. I agree with everything you guys are saying. Kaiti, do you agree?
I don't mean to get ahead of things, but I could watch Blake cry for at least an hour.
You are getting...
I apologize. I'm just saying that was the best part of it for me.
That's like a
wonderful.
Specific thought, though, and we were going for general thoughts. That was your chance, though. Moving on.
I'm sorry.
Moving on.
It's down to the question, who can I not live life without?
Now, I've heard this quite a bit through all the horrible weddings I've gone to. Every speech from the bridesmaid or head annoying woman giving the speech always says...
Not misogynist.
Let me give a speech here. They have the champagne glass, and I've heard this at least 3 times during a wedding ceremony. It's not...
You said it at your wedding ceremony.
No, I absolutely did not. How dare you, sir? No, it's always said, which is it's not who you want to live with, it's who you can't live without. And I think that's really stupid.
Good to know. Hey guys, we're in the Maldives, and that's right off the coast of India, which is cool, I guess. The white beaches, the luxury ocean yurts, and there's also plenty of bats. Did you guys see all those bats? They go to humid places too often.
Is that what brings the bats in? The humidity, huh?
Yeah. You know, caves, dark, damp, sticky air. That's where they flock to. I got to say, she is so freaking zen right now. The B-roll of her doing yoga, diving in the infinity pool, staring off out onto the sunset.
I often think if you asked a person, like, what was the greatest single moment in your life, the best day of your life, or best week of your life, I think Becca would probably say right here. Even though she's got to break a heart or two.
Just one.
Yeah, just one, actually. Really just being desired by 2 men and being on this fucking island, having your family there fawn all over you, giving you love advice.
It's the peak.
I mean, this girl's history is horrible. Gotten dumped a lot of times, and I have mentioned for nefarious reasons, perhaps... elongated yeast infection or something. I don't know.
Right.
But now it's her time to shine, and she's taking it in, dude.
It is. Well, you made mention of the family. Let's talk about the fam. General thoughts on these people? Katie, what are your thoughts on the family?
I will say I never thought that Becca, compared to the other Bachelor contestants in Ari's season, was attractive. I think, and that is not... that is from a female.
Yeah.
I never found her attractive.
You can be a horrible human being,
exactly.
too. Yeah.
Compared to the other girls, I did not find her attractive.
Yeah.
Then she was set up next to her family. And I just felt like, given the deck of cards that she was dealt,
yeah,
the fact that she looks that way is incredible.
She turned out pretty good.
Especially that sister, right, Pat?
There were several levels of neck rolls that I had to... I was... counting.
This is so brutal.
Hold on.
This is so brutal.
Well, hold on. Let me say this.
I thought you were going to go after the hair. You know who this is, Pat? Call back to episode 1.
Of course I do. This is, they killed a bunch of people in a fire.
Did they? I didn't know this.
God, what's this?
You referenced them, episode 1. This is a callback.
In Rhode Island, they killed like 200 people playing this horrible song. Right.
Great White.
That's right.
I don't know what we're talking about, but I do want to get back on track.
It's a very satisfying callback to episode 1, where
literally so unsatisfying that the person who said the thing you're calling back to did not remember what you were talking about.
If it is unclear to the Baby Birds, he said the sister's hair, which is crazy curls, look like 80s rock band Great White.
Got it. Guys, I'm confused about the rotation of old men in this family.
Solid point.
Uncle Gary's gone. He's not there.
Uncle Gary was the foundation.
Right.
Last year.
Now, my eyes could be deceiving me, but it seems like they've swapped him out with an obviously gay older gentleman with that necklace, and then an exotic animal trainer of some sort who looked like George Carlin had scratches all over his arm. I have no idea who these guys are. I've never seen them once in my life.
Yeah, it was George Carlin and Clint Howard.
I agree, sir.
That is so perfect.
I will say, as horrible, genetic card this entire family was dealt, they seem very nice.
Katie, what is your favorite Clint Howard movie?
Too many to name.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Listen, it's all these gentlemen. I'm starting to think she swings.
Becca's mom?
Yeah, she swings hard. Anyways, Garrett comes in. He is giddy. Did his energy make you uncomfortable?
I have a problem with men that sweat too much,
Okay.
especially when the experience is heightened, And
Yeah.
I felt like he came in very sweaty and just
Right.
there was a lot of emotions.
I
If
gotta
it's the
say,
Maldives.
though,
I mean, it attracts
Katie,
bats.
I think,
Let the man sweat.
Yeah, you're not taking into account how hot it is there on account of all the bats are there.
She won't date a man in a hot climate then.
You're ruthless, girl.
I just feel like he's extra sweaty. Both of them are, but
Poor Blake.
there were a lot of sweaty men on this episode.
I took note of that as well for a different reason. This guy Garrett quickly begins crying, and that will define this entire encounter. He starts talking about the merciless impact that cancer's had on his family, and just starts losing it. He loses it.
Apparently, every fucking family member died of cancer.
I mean, it's claimed the lives of so many members of his family.
Yeah, Uncle Chuck buys this hook, line, and sinker. He eats this up. Hey, can I say something, though? I want to digress for a second. Becca and her mom chat a little bit once Garrett gets there, because Garrett does something which I thought was very inappropriate. They all do a toast
Cried
before
when
lunch.
he met everyone.
Cried. And then he did a toast to Becca's dead dad. And I think that's weird.
The dead dad angle was like, talk about a dead horse. Holy smokes. I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but he's gone.
He's gone.
He's stardust. He doesn't even know what this franchise is.
So, all right. One thing
Having said that, I think karmically my dad's just a goner like tomorrow. I'm very, very concerned about what I just said. Anyways, you were saying.
There's an interesting moment where Becca's mom sits down with Becca and they chat while Garrett's there. I guess they're alone. And she says, hey, you came in here with the same smile, the same excitement for that motherfucker Ari. Okay?
Yeah, verbatim.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I thought I was paraphrasing, but yeah, that's pretty much what she said.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So what's new, Becca? And did you hear what Becca said? Becca said, now I get to be Becca. She referred to herself in third person. And I tend to think people that refer to themselves in third person as an asshole.
You guys want to talk about the sister?
I would love to.
Mom, what was that song? I don't even know the song anymore.
I wrote down genetic wishbone, but we've kind of piled on their family enough, I think.
Yeah, I go back to what Pat said. Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice family.
Very nice.
Now, I don't know how this looked in real time, but I, as many listeners know, I watched this show at 1.8 speed. He was talking real fast and crying even harder. He looked like he was on bath salts. But I don't know how it looked real time. It might have looked normal.
It looked about the same.
Yeah, it did. Okay,
yeah.
good.
One thing, so when the sister was talking to Garrett, and she said something very interesting, which I don't like when women do this, which is they throw their current partner under the bus. All right, so the sister says she wishes her fiance cried like this.
I don't know why you would wish that. I guess it's good to be emotional, but I think both gentlemen displayed a lack of control over their emotions on this episode. She says something weird that she feels like she's known him for years. He's just been crying to you for like 2 minutes. I don't know how you got that close with him, but maybe I'm being cynical.
She's not a stoic, heartless man like your fiance that you've been with.
A stoic, heartless man? My fiance?
Talking about Becca's sister's fiance, right?
Oh,
Thank you, guest Katie. Poor hosting Dylan.
Guys, the family just absolutely adores him. They love him. It's weird. Who did you think was going to win at the beginning of the season?
Garrett.
Yeah.
Or I loved Joe, but he was out within the first episode,
Yeah,
so
Joe's.
my dreams were crushed. But yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go too well. It's weird because I don't know how, but I was very convinced that Blake had this in the bag. And now it just seems like there's such a drastic change in tone. Like the family absolutely adores Garrett. She's obviously going to pick him from the get-go in this episode. It's very confusing.
Well, there were two signs here. One was first the show starts off by saying Harrison said this was going to be one of the more emotional things because one of the guys fucking freaks out, and I knew who that was going to be.
Yeah.
So automatically I knew Garrett was going to win. The second thing is when the family started to lean a little bit more towards Garrett, that's her telling her family. On camera, which
Totally.
editing. That's a hot take right there.
And I have a similar hot take when we get to Blake. But first, Let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Today's episode is brought to you by Carmela's Cosmetics of Hoboken. Hello, my name is Carmela Russo. I'm a small business owner and a loving mother. I couldn't be prouder of my son Jonathan, who I'm happy to say is 5 weeks sober. His employment at Ricci's Meats is helping him preoccupy himself, though the owner's son, Mike Ricci, is the first person who sold heroin to my child, so I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried. At Carmela's Cosmetics, we've got the finest beauty products your money can buy. We've got brown and also orange foundation to match your skin tone, plus a largely wide variety of tanning products. In fact, it's the majority of the store. We've got fantastic customer care, aside from a few bad eggs. My daughter Jody being one of them. She's a little hussy, that one. I've caught her on her knees behind Ricci's Meat more times than I can count, and I can count pretty good. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about her. Oh, where's her father, you ask? Who knows? Probably in Las Vegas with that slut of his, Janine. Also, if you happen to run into him and his girlfriend at Harrah's or whatever the fuck they're staying, do me a favor. Ask him if his departure from this family has anything to do with the fact that numerous strangers have been tossing themselves into our children's skulls. I'd like to know. So come on down to Carmela's Cosmetics for some of the finest cosmetics in New Jersey.
Okay, let's get to Blake, huh?
Dude, don't bring wine and flowers to this. Like, just bring yourself. Bring your A game. You think this is going to help your chances?
How do you feel about that?
I think he just should have played into the fact that the flowers matched his shorts instead of being like, oh, I didn't even realize I'm a big dumb idiot.
I thought that was a smart move on Blake's.
Saying that he didn't do it on purpose?
No, the flowers and the wine.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, classy. And I didn't see Garrett with something, so a nice recovery, because I kind of think it's an unfair advantage to go first. Like, obviously the last two people are going to be okay guys if they've made it this far. They can woo you in a day, and who's ever there first will have the upper hand.
Yeah, and we're going to get to that in 1 second. Again, I watched this at 1.8 speed, and he seemed very, very nervous. He was moving all over the place and was sweaty. The sister, lays this out.
Katie was throwing up in her mouth when he was all sweaty like that.
It was too much.
The sister lays it out pretty clean cut to Becca. She's like, Garrett will be a wonderful father, a silly partner, and Blake will be one of Pat's favorite sayings, a challenge.
I think she said he'd be also a good teammate, though, about Blake. The sister also notes that Blake looks like a movie star, which I couldn't disagree more. The man has aged 5 years in 1 month. When they got the close-ups on this
we
motherfucker...
gotta talk about the end of the episode. He looks horrible.
Okay, yeah.
Stress is a real factor in physical appearance because it wrecked him. It's just like those. I would love to see it. It's just like when a president 8 years before and after, like Obama, like he was just looking smooth as shit and then he was all gray haired.
Nah, he still looks smooth as shit.
He still looks smooth, just with a little he's a gray fox look.
God, what a smooth motherfucker.
I want to say when she is talking to her sister, Becca cries. She's visibly shaken.
Yep.
This is the real tell where we know where this is going. And this is when I'm asking, like, does this really need to go on? We're at minute 40 at this, and I'm like, fuck!
Yeah, you knew right then she starts crying.
One family member who definitely seemed like he was in love with one of the guys himself was Uncle Chuck with Garrett. He actually called him a poet.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, was. That was an absurd. That's the first time anybody's ever said that about Garrett. Because he says it 2 syllables max.
I was gonna say he's monosyllabic pretty much all the time.
But maybe it's a little Hemingway-esque. I know it's not exactly poetry, but get to the point, I guess. For Uncle Chuck's taste, anyways.
He then sits down with Mama Bear, and this is where the onslaught begins. They all, in their nicest Midwestern tongue, basically ask him, "You gonna be okay when this is all over?"
Hey, Del, I think I might have a clip of at least one person telling him this.
Yeah.
Becca is something incredibly special.
She is, but so are you.
Thank you.
So I don't have no idea what she's going to decide to do. but you will be fine either way. All right?
Thank you.
Didn't expect it this time.
Yeah.
Maybe the family doesn't like horror movies. I don't know. I have to say, I'm getting ahead of myself, but right at this moment, I'm realizing that Becca wanted basically two guys to be kneeling and beg for her love. I've said this before, but now she's starting to get a little confident. And now she's like, I don't want the insecure guy. When she's saying the entire episode and she tells her family during this whole period, this visit, like, I wanted it to be this guy the whole fucking time. And now this Garrett guy just creeped up and we're growing more and more. She's like, this guy is an insecure little fucking twerp. Yep. And I can't marry a guy who's crying all the time and his mother has to get him through panic attacks.
Here's just like a little piece of advice for Blake. Don't ever fall, quote unquote, embarrassingly early in love with someone ever again.
Over two, buddy.
Yeah, cool it, pump the brakes. Just let something build naturally. But anyways, his psyche is just getting nuked right now.
Also, do less erratic, twitchy facial expressions. He's just always like...
I think that's just childhood trauma.
Oh, okay.
Nick, it's called spiraling. Like, he never recovered from this mom talk. And then they did like a little, as Dylan mentioned, like they cut to several family members talking to him. And they were all basically saying the same spiel. He spiraled. He never recovered. And his insecurity came when he was interacting with her one-on-ones. And if she had anything in her mind saying, I might still pick this guy, that was eroded by him.
Now, here is a hot take of my own. You guys tell me if you agree or not. I think in a misguided attempt to soften the blow, Becca may have had a conversation with her family members saying, is there any way you can talk this guy down a little bit? Maybe cool as jets. Do you think that's ridiculous?
No, I think that may have happened.
You think?
Yeah.
1,000%. They were like, because they were all checking in on him, like, you gonna be suicidal? You're gonna...
Right. You're not going to end up crying into a towel or anything, are you?
I think you're going to be okay, buddy.
We break, and Chris Shitface Harrison, just like Pat said, says, whoa, Blake's in a tailspin right now.
calling it like it is.
At one point, I saw on the live broadcast, there was a promo for Crazy Rich Asians. Now, when I was watching on Hulu.com, at 1.8 speed, I didn't see this Crazy Rich Asians promo.
Oh, I'm so glad you were still able to bring it up, even though...
Because it was so bad that they cut it out of the episode that went up on Hulu.
This made that Cockblockers promo from last season look like Godfather 2.
Absolutely. It looked like some brilliantly produced bit on Carson.
And then there's that weird sexual tension between those two random Asians on stage.
Okay.
She was like...
So let's talk about this. Did you see this?
I did.
Okay, so he brings them on. They have no mark. They have no idea where they're supposed to go. He turns them around and they say, wow, this is so dramatic.
I don't think anyone that's not Asian is going to see that movie, by the way.
That's a hot take.
I like Silicon Valley's...
Jimmy O Yang?
Yeah, thank you. His name escaped me, even though I'm such a huge fan.
Yeah.
But
Happens to me all the time.
I'm pretty sure he's in it.
Yes, he is.
It's his fault. His Instagram handle is funny Asian dude. Have your name, man. It would help me
right.
out.
Okay, do you guys want to get to the one-on-one with Garrett?
Absolutely.
Katie, have you ever thought about a man you love taking you out on the ocean to swim with dolphins?
Yeah. It's never happened. Probably will never happen, but yeah.
Yikes.
Someone's never read The Secret over here.
Yeah.
But
those wish it. Becca and Blake go bike riding and they just sit in the ocean for a little bit. Garrett and Becca literally swim with spiraling dolphins.
Garrett
seems unfair.
Garrett at one point was just holding two fins, and they were just like it was majestic.
Like King Trident. Anyways,
it played out in my head way better than I was able to verbalize it, but it's a beautiful sight.
I see it. Becca and him are watching these dolphins jump majestically out of the water. There are baby dolphins, and this gross Midwestern normie compares this to
my people.
a spiral piece of pasta for mac and cheese.
Yes. Okay, well, want to know something else she said that was stupid? There's something interesting about couples now having to put percentages on the intensity of their love. She says they got to be 50-50. She kicked the guy to the fucking curb for saying, hey, let's do 60-40 on the first night, I think.
Yeah.
So she needs 50-50. This is a callback to Rachel Lindsay's season when she said, are we at 100? Are we 100? Now, and we all know Rachel Lindsay.
Very loose connection.
Do you think so? I mean, why do we're using fucking percentages? Do you love the person or not? Are you into them? Why do we got to fucking use percentages? Hey, I'm 108 and you're 82. I don't know what the fuck. Hey, the point is, Rachel Lindsay, Nick, can we tease this?
Should we just get into this right now?
Rachel Lindsay, who's a loser.
Should we?
Yeah. Rachel Lindsay.
We're doing it.
Who's a loser and was the worst bachelorette ever.
Strap in, Katie.
I'm strapped in.
Okay, for those baby birdies that didn't read the article, Rachel Lindsay, who used to be an attorney, and now she was on television and she needs to be relevant on television, be in the public eye. She's on Instagram hawking shit. And now her most important job, her most important work for life is writing a weekly blog for Us Weekly about The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Right.
So she wrote an article about the episode that we just watched. And it was titled, I Wish I Got My Fairy Tale. Becca got hers. Something along those lines. Paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And rather than talk about the episode, she talks about how she got ripped off during her season and her finale. The producers, ABC, did not show footage of Brian telling her how much he loved her. She didn't. All that was not shown, but Becca got hers. She got her fairy tale ending. She also says that during the Men Tell All, they made Rachel sit on stage for 3 hours and have to answer questions. And at some point, she felt like everyone was calling her an angry black woman, which I don't believe that was ever said. I watched the episode. I did a podcast.
You said it a lot, but nobody there said it.
Yeah, she was the hero of that episode after she quoted Oprah and said, living your best life.
Right.
Yes. And so that's her beef, and she blames it on the producers and ABC. And that's her whole article. And she's fucking angry.
So, Pat, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay, well, you know I'm friends with Demario Jackson, the guy who didn't rape someone last summer.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, after I introduced you
This
to
is not a first. She always feels like a victim, is never happy with her situation. Demario told me that Rachel basically said that Demario stole her season from her, and that if you hang out with him, you can't hang out with her.
Right.
Last time I checked, Demario Jackson didn't do anything.
I'm going to go to Nick now to get his feelings.
Sure.
Nick, how do you feel about this Rachel Lindsay piece?
I think all the stuff she equated to pretty much underlying tones of racism. It, like, she said the angry black thing. She never said racist by ABC, but I felt like that's what she was saying, are explained away by, like, she also quoted how she didn't have a guy up there saying she was going to live a mediocre life. Yeah, that's because she didn't burn bridges with the guy. She was able to, like, break up amicably. And also, like, the format thing, how she was on stage, I think they just tried that and people did not like it. They liked just seeing it and then after the final rose. And quit your bitching.
I agree. Shut up.
Now, Katie, do you pretty much echo their...
I completely agree.
Yeah. Now, see, I am totally fine with people crying racism. I'm a liberal snowflake. I'm fine with that. But it is strange how the first black bachelorette selected by ABC to spearhead the franchise is insinuating that they're racist?
Pretty much.
And she also brought up how she was like, they didn't hold her to the fire. Like, she wasn't asked these pointed questions as it played out in front of her. They did ask her very awkwardly, getting ahead of myself, about the Instagram situation. And there were no questions, I feel like, that deep for Rachel Lindsay. Like, they didn't ask her about Lee.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hey, Rachel Lindsay, can you please go back to, like, law or something? Like you're wasting your fucking time here. No one cares. You're fucking irrelevant. Please go back to Dallas. You know, what's her dad's name? It's a cute name. He's a fucking judge.
Samson.
Sammy. Sammy's very disappointed in you right now.
Yeah.
Okay? He's not cheering you on
He's like,
this.
what have they done
This is a
to
made
my
man.
daughter?
I bet if you asked him what he thought, he'd be like, I don't know. She was on the fucking show. She had a great time.
Yeah, he couldn't show up because he had a trial.
I just find it so annoying when these past contestants, they just will crawl over broken glass to stay relevant, even if it means attacking the current. I'm not even like the biggest Becca fan, but I even felt like I wanted to defend her against that article.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up, Rachel. Nobody cares about you and your stupid Botoxed fiance. I hate his face.
His face
the look
is
of his
awful.
face makes me.
Yeah.
It does something to my inside.
It's such a tight butt, swollen face for a 35-year-old, now, we're rolling up on Paradise, and that show is chock full of people who are clawing and scratching their way
Absolutely.
back. Who do you identify as some of the most desperate and pathetic people?
Leo.
Oh,
Hands
wow.
down. Leo, hands down. I'm so sorry to say this, and I don't want this to affect our friendship, but I am not a Tia fan.
Oh.
At all.
We fucking hate her.
Oh, I thought you liked Tia.
No.
No, you don't. Okay. So that's
I feel like we're very quick to flip-flop on our specific opinions of people, I will say.
I literally forget
Yeah.
the things that I say all the time. But as of now, my current Dylan, not a fan of Tia.
Current Dylan, not.
Yeah.
I love Joe, so I just want it to be Joe's Paradise, and everyone else can fuck off. But
Just
watermelons
I like Kendall.
everywhere.
Joe's too nice. He doesn't have enough cunning. It's never going to work out for
I
him.
like Kenny.
Kenny.
The wrestler. The
Kenny
daughter
King.
back
I'll
home.
have no more of this. Let's get back to the show.
Pretty boy Pitbull, Kenny King.
Night date.
Night date!
What is there to say? I mean, they're just head over heels. They're talking about snoring, how cute it is that
Purring.
He had to be touching her at night, even if it was with a toe.
I will say this, not all about that touching all night. I mean, you could cuddle for a little while, but at some point,
Let her sleep, yeah.
break
Yeah.
away,
It's
go to your quadrants.
now, Pat, you're married.
Yeah.
When you're cuddling with your wife, I mean, what's the ceiling on that? 6 minutes? 6 minutes and 15 seconds?
It depends on what time it starts in the night and how hot it is, but normally it's a minute and then. But
It's an impractical form of affection. It can't last that long.
so they start saying how magical their lives are and talking about babies and all this other shit. I feel like their relationship was solidified when Becca asked him, like, hey, this isn't the real world. I always like when they actually say, like, this is not real. It's never going to be as good as this. If I pick you, like, what's going to happen? And then he basically lays it out, like, I'm going to love you. And I think that was her question.
I'm going to change baby diapers. And he said that at one point.
Yes. And she needed to hear that, and then I knew she was going to pick him. Mm-hmm.
Can I say, I mean, I know that they've gone through this journey together, but I just wouldn't want to talk about changing diapers 3 months into a relationship. That just seems like a lot to me.
It's what it takes if you want to close some ass. And I want to say this.
Well, some ass that's from the Midwest and compares spiraling dolphins to elbow macaroni. Not the right kind of pasta, but you get my point.
Understood. Can I tell you what the power move of the night was, though? Garrett, while he's crying the whole time, he says at some point, like, I'll always love you, and I want you to be happy, even if you don't pick me. And I felt like that was him maybe going like, if she doesn't pick me, I'm going to be happy as a fucking clam because I'll be the Bachelor.
No. It was never going to happen.
You don't think I don't know.
Did you see the David Hogg Crisis Actor stuff, all the conservative
Yes.
stuff when it came out? Now, did it take Garrett down a couple pegs for you?
At first.
Yeah.
But there's something about him that is very charming.
Yeah. It's the dumb
It's the
thing.
dumb.
Yeah.
And they weren't that bad.
He said when they were on the boat, he said maybe it's the girl, maybe it's the equator, but I feel like I'm on top of the world, which doesn't actually make sense.
Nope,
it's
doesn't
things
add up.
like that.
Right.
That, you just, and he's got a nice smile. He's got broad shoulders.
Yeah, he's a very, very handsome guy. A lot of moles, but I'm still okay with it. The
I did
moles
notice
are
a
perfectly
few
placed.
moles, yeah.
Another example of nonsense he spews is butterflies in my stomach. I'd rather have eagles.
Yeah.
I don't... idiot. Have you ever Ashton Kutcher and the butterfly effect? They can do a lot of damage, all right? It can change the course of history.
Yeah, exactly. He said that he has a lot of great lines.
Ego wouldn't fit in your stomach in the first place.
You make my heart feel like the 4th of July. I love her so much, I'd let her tear my heart out just so she could be happy.
I swear to God, that's like another Dumb and Dumber reference by him. Sly, the scene where the guy rips his heart out and throws it in the doggy bag.
Yeah, exactly. That's got to be it.
That's the only reference point he has.
That's the only, exactly. Just like Becca's is after school suppers. Mac and cheese.
Oh.
Hey. This one isn't funny. I was actually offended by this line because he's just laying them out. I think he had all these. I always accuse these people of like pre-can shit. Like they got 9 or 10 things in their head. They got to make sure they get said.
Yep.
This one I thought was inappropriate.
I feel like when I was talking to your mom the other day, that I wasn't just talking to your mom, I was talking to your dad too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he wasn't there.
He was.
So all I want to know is just make sure you keep proud of you, know? Mm-hmm. That you're making the right decision, picking the right person.
I think that's inappropriate. I don't think you should be bringing. You never met him. You didn't spend any time with him.
It's just like
you can't say that you feel like he was there. What do you?
And you
didn't
feel like that. Like you, come on. You're just saying
you're not a
that.
medium.
Yeah, you're not. You're not the fucking Long Island medium. You have no idea.
Although
is that a specific medium?
Absolutely. Teresa.
Yeah.
Teresa Caputo.
Hey, you know who else could use a little psychic abilities? Maybe he could have cut out a little bit earlier. Blake. One-on-one with him. What do we think of Becca's outfit? To me, it looked like it was soon of a tablecloth.
Katie, you listened to our show. We've been critical all year. How accurate in her terrible fashion sense that was obviously provided by Rue McClanahan.
The comparison with the Golden Girls, spot on. I completely agree.
Thank you.
Too much glitter. It was terrible. Worst dressed Bachelorette of all time.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Golden Girl?
The little one.
Good answer.
Estelle.
That's right. Estelle Getty.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Pat.
Yeah.
Now, you have a video up right now.
Yes.
I have no fucking idea what this video is. Could you tell us?
Yes. Okay, so Blake and Becca didn't go on a water date initially. They went to the beach. They went on a bike ride.
Right.
And the whole time, I got so bored watching this episode, especially at this part. I wanted to turn it off and go to bed. And so then my fingers started dancing, and it reminded me of a bicycle scene from 1980. It was the original Muppets movie. You know I'm a big fan of the Muppets. And I figured I'd be a little self-indulgent and actually play a romantic scene on bicycles, because this was not romantic.
Now, the bottom of the YouTube player is open before you play. It says 2 minutes and 57 seconds.
I just want the first 15 seconds.
Got it.
People just, cue up the music, sync it up, and then watch it, and then cry. It's Miss Piggy and Kermit, and this is when they're falling in love. Oh, sorry.
Sunny sky, lovely pictures dance in your eye.
It all seems so right.
It all feels so rare.
Summer soft, sudden breeze. Watch the wind play tag in the trees. The world is so bright, so perfectly fair.
Pat, you're getting distracted and you need to stop the video.
Sorry. I wish their date went down like that.
Yeah,
They seem in love, Miss Piggy and Kermit.
What an unlikely pairing.
I'm going to piggyback, no pun intended, on his.
Got it.
And I'm going to take a cinematic romantic bike ride. A little bit more upbeat, but also really good feels from Wedding Crashers, Owen Wilson, and Rachel McAdams. Sync it up at home again, guys. Dylan or Katie, I should have let more of that song play. That was good. Patrick was feeling it.
Dylan or Katie, what?
Romantic bicycle.
Absolutely not. I think
scenes?
it bogs the podcast down.
Fair enough. 2 is good.
Let's get back to this date. Katie, I don't know what you saw here. I saw a lady who was just trying to navigate a long amount of time with somebody who she knew ultimately she was going to break the heart of.
I completely agree. I feel like she was already checked out, but she was in this odd spot where it was like, if I break up with this guy, he may kill himself or take the life of someone else.
Right.
And that's a tough spot. I was with someone like Blake once, and I was so scared to break up with him, truly, because he was just so emotional, and I feel like
you thought he was going to harm himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had to turn a lot of guys down like that.
Mm-hmm. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's not a fun feeling. Just because the weight of it, it's so heavy.
Yeah.
You know?
Where are you meeting all these male suitors?
Let's get to the night date.
Night date!
What is this evil box thing he made? It looks like there's something. It looks like something at the beginning of a '90s kids movie that's gonna start some trouble with ghosts or witches or something.
It reminds me of my shoebox terrarium I made back in the day.
What's a terrarium?
No, that's kind of the wrong word. It's like an earthy, like.
It's a box where you collect fucking insects so you can create your own world like God and watch them fucking coexist with one another. That's a fucking terrarium.
That was not my thought process when I made mine. Patrick evidently was very power hungry at a
Pat's
young
been
age.
a sociopath from a very young age. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on the night date, guys?
I have a question. Did Garrett make anything or give Becca a gift?
Nope.
And he also didn't bring anything.
Nope.
So do you feel like Garrett was, in his mind, he's like, I got this in the bag, and Blake is just pulling tricks out every which way. He's like, but also here's a craft I made.
Yeah.
We also have to give a little credence
100%.
to the possibility he's dumb and just does not realize pleasantries like this. But I agree. He had it in the bag, but
I think that
he's also dumb.
He's had so many years of providing fresh tomatoes as a gift. He really doesn't know what else to get people. If it's not a bundle of fresh tomatoes.
And he went out to
not a gift.
He went out to get tomatoes for her, and they just were not up to his standards. Yep. He was just like,
too firm.
What am I going to do?
Too firm.
Maldives, not the place to get tomatoes.
No. So he walks her through this page from an I Spy book, and they just flounder, and he leaves. I mean, do you guys have thoughts on this? It was just sad.
He tells her he loves her.
Yep.
No shit.
Yep.
She leaves, and she says in her OTF, or off camera, she says, now she has clarity, which means I didn't give a flying fuck what that buffoon just told me, and I know who I really want to be with.
Katie, do you think Blake is attractive?
No.
Do you think his head is too boxy?
I think his head is too square.
Yeah.
For his body, and nothing fits.
Yeah.
Besides Joe, who else?
Oh, Colton. I would take his. Yeah, absolutely, proudly.
Me too.
I feel like
too,
Blake
girl.
has the semblance of being a handsome man, but his face is squished.
Right. It's childhood trauma.
How much of him being a complete pussy is really part of you hating
I'd
his
say about
physique?
70%.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
It's a large percentage.
You okay with those percentages?
Absolutely, he deserves it.
Okay. Hey, Pat.
Yes, Dylan.
How are you?
I'm doing great, Dill. Thank you for asking.
So, I would assume that you're doing great because we got tons of great reviews in the iTunes ratings and reviews this week.
Dude, I'm overwhelmed. I have quite a conundrum to deal with here.
Uh-oh.
You remember last week I sent the baby birds on a mission? A task.
CTA.
Oh, yeah. Call to action for the baby birdies.
Yep.
We were at 199 last episode, and I said that reviewer that would hit 200 would get $30. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch the feed as much as I probably should. So we got hit with a lot of reviews.
Now, can I ask, was it difficult for you to determine which one actually was the 200th review?
Dylan, I'm glad you asked. We had 9 reviews that hit that day. And again, I was drinking a lot that day.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to watch. I guess they give time frames of when reviews come in, but I didn't get to see it. And then the next thing you know, it just says a review on Thursday. And there's 10 there, or 9, which in this case it's 9. So I often,
conundrum you are in.
Yes, I am, sir. So, Annabelle Kitten, iPhone 1234, Sesh Man T, Kaylee Boxy, Katie Mary 96, Fatal Chick, Susan E, JDE 44, and Roxy AM. That's 9 reviews right there. I have no idea what order you came in, so I have a way to balance this out.
You're going to give all of them $30?
Absolutely not, Dylan. I did the math on this on my iPhone.
$333.
It has a calculator, and yes, the number came out to $333, but I'm going to round up. So here's the deal. I am a man of my word. You guys are going to get some money, but you have to some work ahead of you. You need to...
You're asking them to do more work.
Well, a little. You just got to message me your personal address, your phone number, and a picture with you in a bathing suit, and I will mail you $3.40.
Now, this seems a little unfair to ask people to do this and then to bait and switch them with another demand. A ludicrous one at that.
This sounds like an idea for a Nathan For You episode that didn't make the cut.
Yeah, exactly.
A little too much.
I gotta say, I am not a fan of this. I think it's disrespectful towards the fans, but I don't make these calls.
I like it. I, for one, like it.
Pat's the business guy, so...
Exactly. And
Katie's changing into her bathing suit and taking a selfie right now.
I'm getting ready to take that picture.
If you do this, I will mail you a check. It will be a money order. And it will be directly to your name or your business entity, whatever you want it to be.
Sounds great. Yeah.
So send that shit in. So,
and you're getting 67 cents you do not deserve.
Did you, how so?
Because they should only be getting $3.33. He's giving $4 a person.
No,
he's up.
not. He's rounding to $3.40.
Oh, I missed it. I thought Pat was.
Which was a weird rounding up.
He's a generous guy.
All right, that's it for the ratings and reviews.
That's 63 cents. He didn't have to give.
We'll see you guys next week. You guys want to get to the big day?
Sure.
Big day! Blake wakes up.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, right.
Love your enthusiasm. Blake wakes up and says that everything feels right. And that he has a strange sense of calm about him. Maybe that curse he spoke of isn't a curse at all. Maybe his gut's god-awful. I'll tell you what, though. He's got a great picker for rings. Mm-hmm. Neil walks by, and he picks a gorgeous ring.
Nice cushion cut.
My wife chimed in on this as we were watching. She did not like the ring Garrett picked. She loved the ring that Blake picked. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think she gets seriously distracted when Garrett proposes to her. When she looks at that ring, she's like, what?
What have I done? Did Blake have his out? That's really twist the knife.
God, if she would have saw that and then saw Garrett's, I think she would have thrown that thing in the ocean and ran back to Blake. But he would have been, like, the skin under his eyes would have been so raw from crying. She would have been like, I don't know what I'm doing. She would have ran back to Garrett. Okay. So anyways, they ride over to the beach. And Pat, I got to ask one more time this season. This is a big wardrobe choice. Mm-hmm. What say you about the dress?
Because it wasn't on my radar, that means I didn't hate it. I think it was beautiful and flowing, and she glowed on her special day.
Very generous, in my opinion. Katie?
Wasn't a fan.
Not a fan?
Wasn't a fan. It didn't accentuate her figure, but that's just me, picking apart.
Well, I mean...
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I thought it was fairly milquetoast, nothing offensive or...
It fit Becca perfectly, you're saying.
Played it safe!
That's what I'm saying, guys. So, we take a break, and Chris says, Chris Harrison of The Bachelor.
Shitface, as you like to call him.
He says what we're about to see is real, raw, and painful.
We did edit it this time because last year was painful. That was a bad choice on our part.
Yeah. But he asks the audience, and America, are you ready? And I just want to ask the room, are we ready to get into this?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see Blake, and for the
that go the way you wanted it to, Dylan?
Yeah, of course. We see Blake, and I mean, you know, he's a goner.
Let me ask you something. When he's getting on that fucking skiff boat, I think it's called skiff boat, doesn't he want to ask the driver, hey, you drive anybody else out here earlier?
Ooh.
Because that'd be a tell.
Oh.
The second means you're a fucking, you're a winner. The first means you're a fucking goner.
You are a detailed motherfucker.
I am. And yeah. And also you're the time, like I'd be like, hey, what time do I need to be on the boat? 9 a.m. Wow. That seems a little early call time for me. You sure it's not noon? Mm-hmm.
I would have loved a 9 a.m. call time because I think you'd maybe beat the heat. He is dripping
Blake
sweat.
did not beat the heat.
Dripping sweat. This is absolutely brutal. It's raw, painful, and real. We have the entire proposal that we need to play so the listeners can relive this cringeworthy moment.
I think Patrick actually is going to put a timer on this one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so before we play this fucking clip, I was a little disturbed, and I've been watching the show for a while, but I don't remember a Bachelorette hanging a fucking guy out to dry this long without stopping him mid-sentence and saying, stop, I care about you. She's so fucking insecure, this bitch, that she needs this so much on television so she can watch it over and over and over again when she's in her 50s with that ugly sister of hers, and maybe the mom will still be around, but she needs this. So I'm going to put a clock on it, and you guys time this out. Let me start it. Here we go.
And 4 other strange men, let's not forget.
Because of the swinging.
It's because of the swinging.
Quiet!
Call back.
Becca, you constantly inspire me to be a better man. And I love the man I am when I'm around you. You're the most sincere, honest, compassionate, goofy, funny, intelligent, truly, genuinely beautiful person, inside and out, that I've ever met. I've been waiting for this day and this moment for quite some time now. From the first moment I met you on
We're
that
at
stage,
30 seconds here.
I knew you were something special. From the first time you swung that sledgehammer and cracked those windows, I knew you were unlike any woman I've ever met. You know, in Vegas, when you melted into my arms, that smile on your face.
Yikes.
I want to make you smile like that for the rest of my life. When all this is gone, it's just going to be you and me, babe. That's the only way I want it. You are that right person.
We're over a minute.
Becca,
Man.
will you let me spend the rest of my life making you smile?
She stops him right there and says, wait. That's a minute and 16 seconds.
And a long minute 16.
Katie, what the fuck's going on there? You're a woman.
I feel like for the first time, Becca had this like newfound confidence, you know, with the guys. She was like very kind of self-conscious the whole time, and now she has 2 guys that are into her, and I feel like she was just kind of milking it. I felt like it was cruel because Blake is obviously not of sound mind.
Right.
I was getting Jake Pavelka vibes the whole time, and she let it go on way too long. I felt like it was selfish. But I may have done the same thing.
Why didn't she get beat up for this?
What?
I mean, sorry.
Not physically.
Not physically.
Even I had faith in Pat. He didn't mean
If
that.
a dude did this now, a Bachelor did this to a chick, wouldn't he get fucking reamed out on social media?
Yeah.
I feel like because Becca was so beat down after Ari's season that she's kind of the underdog and maybe people aren't attacking her as much.
But yeah, minute 16. Jesus, my
That's
heart was
awful.
racing watching that timer. I haven't watched a timer like that since I had the over on Luke Bryan's national anthem.
Speaking of horrible country music, I thought he was going to, like, it was going on so long. I was like, remember the time that we were in Prague and danced to that country music star that's literally sold 4,200 copies of that horrible song that probably most of his family bought?
Right.
This sucked. What a bitch.
I have to say, I felt the worst part of this was when he said babe. Because you could tell that he didn't mean it. Like, he just knew he was dead on his feet. And he still said babe.
It had a question mark.
And then
Babe?
also, it just made me forget, or remember, I should say, that he claims the moment he fell in love with her was when they were being guided through a demolition tour by Lil Jon. That's not a good foundation for a long-lasting marriage.
How do we know? No one has ever experienced that.
That's a good point.
I feel like they could be. It could have been 100%.
We gotta do it again next year.
Yeah, 0 for 1, I guess.
I made this mistake on my wedding day. I mistimed the stubble. The stubble was inappropriately long. Shave the day before, no more than that. Let's talk about his appearance. As we mentioned, he's so sweaty. He goes up and he's like wiping his eyes, but I think he's wiping a lot more than that when he brings the jacket up. I think he's getting a little bit of forehead, a little bit of tear. Again, he's drenched. His face looks longer to me. He has more skin. It looks like the stress is just draining the life out of his face. He looks disgusting.
Yeah. His sweat glands are exploding, and he's crying. And at one point, one of the crew handed him a towel.
Right.
And he just has the towel, and he just throws it on his face.
Ugh.
And he's just muffled tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way he was reacting, I was like, Jesus, did someone break into your school and rape and murder your classmates? Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
What was that crisis called again?
I don't actually remember, but it had a very distinct name.
Yeah, it did.
He's been through a lot
He has been through a lot.
in 28 years. Yeah.
He tells her, I love you. Like, that's going to do anything but make her feel worse. Asshole.
It destroys her.
No, it doesn't. She's
she
fine.
makes it feel like it does.
Yeah, she's walking through the woods like she cares about Blake.
Hey, by the way, I have a question. If we ever get a producer or someone that works on this fucking show, I want to go.
You're the producer.
No,
of
on
The
the
Bachelor.
actual show.
Oh, got it.
I'll ask him, like, how much time when she dumps one of these idiots does she have? There were some tears to reapply makeup and shit to pull herself together to be able then to tell a guy she loves him and she's all happy and shit.
Yeah, if I was her, I'd be furious. I'd be like, let's get an early call time because it's 104 degrees outside with 100% humidity.
And she's a bit of a fixer-upper, so I don't think she can just wipe it off
Right.
and go and see Garrett.
Yeah, no, it takes some muscle.
Yeah.
Garrett's going to flip her.
He says in a very, very heartbreaking end to this that he's going to have to go through all this alone. But that's not true because he has the support of his cheating Ottoman-haired mom, who I would imagine has lots of sound advice for the young man because she's been through something similar, kind of, in that she thought she was in love with his father, but she wasn't, and decided to fuck the English teacher and basketball coach instead.
One guy.
It's kind of like that, right?
Hey. When he's sitting on the couch with Harrison and they're breaking this down. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Patrick, I was just about to ask the question, does he just appear out of nowhere?
That was terrifying.
Does he just appear on that couch out of nowhere?
It was odd timing or however the editing, whatever the fuck.
They don't intro him, right?
They come back from the commercial break and there's fucking Blake sitting there with Harrison. It was weird.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We are breaking into hour 3. I tell you, I'm usually a little high at the end of these episodes. 3-hour marathon.
First question with Harrison. I don't know if he asked him was there red flags or he prompted him, but Blake says the only red flags with his relationship with Becca was there were no red flags. That's pretty stupid.
He stole the UFC's original tagline, the only rule, there are no rules.
Nice.
I gotta say, his hair isn't good enough.
I liked him when he had his hair down, I would say, in some event.
There's so much that's wrong with his hair.
His hair's not good enough.
It's getting worse.
It needs some product. It looks like it won't take. It looks like it's very dense hair, but every guy can find the right product for them, and he hasn't found it. I'm very fortunate because my wife and I have the same textured hair, so we kind of get to go through this journey together, kind of using the same products, kind of figuring out which works best.
And Blake has to do it alone.
Hey, do you guys want to talk about Becca coming out? Not as a homosexual, like onto the stage.
Yeah, I want to talk about this, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves. They talk about challenging each other. I don't know when this became a theme in relationships. When did it become a theme or a necessity for two people to challenge one another? I don't need to be challenged. Are you guys? Oh, you're married, Dylan.
I challenge Cece constantly. I push her to the ground. I stand over her. I say, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, that's how I visualized it. Cece's at home. Dylan walks in the door. He's like, "We fight now." I challenge you.
Yeah, no. She's the one who is physically abusive. So, anyways, she comes out, and again, I watched this at 1.8 speed, and I had to bump down that speed because his voice was indecipherable. The vocal fry and grudge voice was in full effect tonight. Couldn't hear him.
It's the last time I get to do it.
Challenge
You know what? I stand by this. I know we mentioned this last episode. If Blake becomes the Bachelor, we're not doing this
The
podcast.
podcast is
It's
over.
Don't say that.
Yeah, because
It's
he's
over.
gonna be.
Don't say that.
Unfortunately,
Guy,
it's democracy in this room, and me and Pat, pen your letters now. Write the production. This fucking podcast is over.
Well, hand me a pen because I cannot live without this podcast.
Thank you.
He's not going to be the Bachelor.
I'm also going to be writing on behalf of us.
That
oddly
is
enough.
the only reason we're so confident is because we're so confident that he's not going to be the Bachelor.
But here's the thing: he is so fun to make fun of, even as the final two. Imagine him as the Bachelor. You could get this every week.
I would love to see him go through an entire gauntlet and then propose to the first woman, have her say no, and then have him propose to the second woman and have her say no. Would you want that? Doesn't that sound fun?
My mind was lost because I was thinking how I was given inside info, which ruined the season for me.
Right.
From former guest Alex Sulkin.
Yeah.
DM'd me out of nowhere, said a couple weeks ago, he said, Garrett wins, Blake's the Bachelor. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. Spoilers. This is the first season we've been doing this podcast. I haven't known the winner before it ended.
They did not announce The Bachelor last night, which means this company is still vetting
On the
process.
fence. On the fence.
Absolutely.
I like Alec a lot. He's a nice guy.
Great guy.
And I'm pretty sure he's a successful guy.
Yep.
But fuck you, Alec. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no fucking way they're picking this guy. And I also like that they did not announce that Scott Baio is going to be the Bachelor because he was sitting at home waiting for his name to be announced or whatever the fuck. And I like how you didn't get that either, you piece of shit.
Yep.
I actually buy what you both of you are laying down because
Yeah.
I think the production plays with all these people and they're just like, no, you're the front runner. You're the front runner. Like we had inside info that Christina was going to be the Bachelorette.
Right.
Someone very close to the situation told us that. Turned out to be false because all of a sudden at the last minute they had the Becca drama. So Audible.
Things happen.
So someone's got to make some moves in Paradise is what we're
here's
saying.
my hot take. Here's my hot take. Nick Vale had no shot at being the Bachelor. He went on Bachelor in Paradise. I felt like they were vetting him. He did such a great job there. Boom, he's there. Colton is on Bachelor in Paradise. The footage we see is that it doesn't work out with him and Tia. In fact, he's crying quite a bit. And Evil Ben Stiller steals Tia's heart, or at least that's what they kind of show. And then also he was begging a little bit, or he was a little too thirsty on the Men Tell All.
Yes, he was.
I'm feeling Colton here, so fuck you, Blake, and fuck you, Scott Baio.
I would love Colton to be the Bachelor.
He's the only choice.
However, I found something disturbing. I went on Scott Baio's Instagram, and he posted a photo from the Men Tell All. It's disgusting. I hate his hair. I don't like him. And Colton had written underneath, and he wrote #Jason for the Bachelor. I didn't like that.
Of course he would, because he knows he's going to be the best.
So he's kind of campaigning being the good guy. Okay.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, Colton sucks. I mean, everything about him sucks. But he's going to be a great Bachelor. He's so stupid and so fucking beautiful. I cannot wait for that season if it happens.
He's still commenting on Instagram about his virginity, so evidently he didn't lose it in paradise.
Yeah.
And the fact that Tia, non sequitur, goes for evil Ben Stiller,
insane,
really drops her down a peg or two in my book.
Insane. And
which we're going to get to on our next episode. But I want to say this. I love this. It's almost like what's that whorehouse in Reno with that Dennis?
The Bunny Ranch.
The Bunny Ranch. It's almost like if Colton is the Bachelor, we get to kind of see him lose his virginity on TV.
Yeah.
I kind of like this.
I kind of think that's going to be boring as fuck and way too overplayed.
It's going to be like John Cena in that Amy Schumer movie, Trainwreck. He's pounding her and talking about protein.
Do you have an ideal pick for The Bachelor?
Colton's my ideal pick.
Okay.
Yeah, just because he's gorgeous and he's better than Jason and Blake. I would love if, and I just came up with this idea right now. I would love if Jordan would take over Chris Harrison's role, and then Chris Harris' son became the Bachelor.
He's single.
That's I just popped up in my mind right now.
I'm not even going to argue and take credit for it. It's the secret. You got to put it out there. I also agree with Dylan. I hope Chris Harrison is the Bachelor and Jordan hosts the show. That would be amazing. Put your confidence on.
We have to get back to this episode. Bye, Blake. You lost. Go away. Garrett, come on out. You won the competition. Garrett comes out, and they're just ecstatic. I mean, the minivan and the fly fishing really did it, boys.
Let me say this.
Thank you. Thank you.
The format of this whole episode and how it was edited together was very different than what I'm used to. Typically, we don't cut into the studio with the loser for 20 minutes and then bounce back to the boring proposal, which we know is going to happen. We already know what this idiot's going to say. This was their way of stretching, which I really hated even more. There was no need for any of this. And then we have to... the way they ended was so white trashy. They made these two imbeciles have to step into a shitty...
Woody!
Van.
I punched Dylan.
What?
It was a Woody?
Yeah, the van.
Oh, that's from like a 1983 crusty old fucking rape van.
Yeah.
And drive off. I think they showed some disrespect to them, quite honestly. Normally,
I love when Patrick gets seriously upset. Like,
no. Like
hey,
she did
better.
a TV show for you. He showed up. They're on and now you surprise him and say, "Hey, now you're going to step out here while the audience is applauding. You're going to drive up." By the way, they're only going to drive 30 feet. Where are they going?
Yeah, like I was certain that it was going to be like the kind of minivan you win on Price is Right, one of those shows, like a brand new 2018 Odyssey with 50,000 miles on it.
I will say on The Price is Right, they're new, but they're not exactly putting them fully loaded. All right, they're cutting corners.
No, my Aunt Ducky won a Yaris on that show. I'm not kidding. She was like 88 when she won. Didn't have the money to pay the taxes on the car.
I was just going to say, what was her name?
Aunt Ducky.
I was just going to say, I bet Aunt Ducky took it up the ass in taxes. I didn't have to phrase it like that.
Yeah, no, you definitely didn't. She's since passed.
Let's put that van in reverse because we buried the lead.
Wouldn't be the first time we got ahead of ourselves.
We did get ahead of ourselves, and it's your fault, Patrick. They get married. As we discussed, the ring is absolutely horrific.
Engaged.
That's true. Engaged. But it kind of feels like a wedding. You know, you get tricked. Let's get back to the studio. We have something very heavy that we need to talk about. Chris Shitface Harrison brings Garrett out and says, you guys have had a lot of ups, but you've had one big down. That is your borderline white nationalist like patterns on Instagram.
How dare you Dylan, he's not allowed to like shit that he might agree with, or sometimes you just see a post or a little video and you don't know a lot about it.
I don't want to do this to you, but we could go post by post right now if you'd like to.
I would love to. Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, it's wrong medium. We can't do it. There's too many.
I will say most of them were clearly meant as jokes. Except the one that just was like, I feel like probably got people most riled up because it's just idiocy, is the David Hogg crisis actor.
Right.
Because there's no joke, there's no underlying. The one that people also got upset about, which I think is just a solid joke, was a touching picture on its own of a soldier swinging around a young Hispanic child. But it was captioned as what you do when one of these little fuckers gets over the wall or something, and it looked like he was about to launch him back. Very fun. We're all laughing. We're all laughing. Double tapping.
I'm laughing at the fact that you think that's all right and humorous because it's not.
Because obviously it's satire. Everybody's happy in the picture. No one's throwing the little child back.
Do we really want to live in a world where I'm going to play the clip?
No, listen, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. He's a moron from the fucking tomato farms of Northern California. Like, come on. What are we expecting?
All right, let me play the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Realize the effect behind a double tap or like on Instagram, so I put out an apology. I didn't mean to offend anybody. I apologize for that still. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings or do anything like that. So I stand by everything that I posted in my apology, and I'm just trying to grow as a person, be a better person on a daily basis. She's helped me through everything. We've been honest and open and transparent with one another since the beginning, and when that all came out, we attacked it because I feel like when I was liking things, it was going against what she stands for, and that made it really hard on us as a couple. So when we started talking about that, we got through that together, and we're growing, we're progressing, and we're moving forward.
What the fuck is going on?
Patrick, you can't play this music for very long.
What the fuck is going on? He realized this didn't align with her views of the world, so he needs to apologize? Fuck you, Garrett. Double down on this. This is your opinion. If this is what you think, then you go that way. By the way, you have 3 hosts. We never get political here, but we think a little differently, but we love each other, and that's the way the world should fucking be. Fuck you. Never apologize for what you really think. No one's hurting anybody. No one got hurt here. Your thumbs hit some likes on some shit that got nobody hurt, and you don't need to get on a fucking stage tonight and fucking be a pussy and apologize for it, because you're gonna hate her later for it, dude.
This was your ranch for life motherfuckers moment.
Wild turn of events. Had no idea that Pat was going to play that music and then deliver that speech, which is insane. He's ABC talent. If he wants to have a little sliver of relevancy, he needs to fucking apologize for this shit.
First off, we always talk about how much we hate these people for pandering and trying to still be relevant in their own minds, be famous. How about speak your fucking mind and go, you know what? I did like some of that shit. Fuck you.
That's not what you dig your heels into the dirt for, Pat. Not David Hogg as a crisis actor. Katie, can you weigh in on this,
The more I
please?
hear Garrett talk, the more I pray that he and Becca get a spinoff show on True TV because I can listen to this all day long. Garrett just spewing out nonsense. He speaks in run-on sentences.
That poet.
It's that poet, Garrett. Oh, it's just so good. It's just so good. It's bad, but it's good.
Yeah. Well, the posts aren't that big of a deal, but rooted in some worrisome stuff if you're going to be on ABC.
I would have loved, I'm kind of with Patrick, I would have loved if he did it. I feel like it's unrealistic when it's simple as, hey, read off this teleprompter right here, and you get to go to Thailand again. All right? and no cameras this time. Camera free. All right?
Yeah. There's also a vehicle for you if you like.
And just to kick you in the ass, we put an equality sticker on the bumper. Did you guys catch that?
Somebody's getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, we're not there yet?
No, we're like literally right there. That's the last thing that happens. They drive off in this
disgusting van.
There's a middle ground, like not the cheesy van, but at least get them, like, paint a panther on it or something.
It was just too on the nose.
Middle ground.
Hey, can I say something? Rachel Lindsay, as we touched on earlier in this episode, was complaining about how she was treated. Dare I say, can you imagine Rachel Lindsay getting put in a fucking van and said sashayed out of there with her the person she's in love with? Like, this show just makes fun of shit, and maybe they don't always do things right, but it's entertaining, and you shouldn't take it so fucking seriously. And goddamn you, Rachel Lindsay, look at me doubling down on her.
Let's get to the bumper sticker.
I hate her too.
Thank you.
Let's get to the bumper sticker that you made mention of. What was this? Was this a trolling thing? Was this like a...
I 100%, I think this was ABC trolling Garrett. They had a bumper sticker that was an equal sign for equality on that, and they made him drive off in that van. It was reminiscent of when he met that lesbian bobsledder, and it was extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, he did not know what to do with his
that.
hands or his words when he met that young lady.
But as Jason says, love is love is love.
Yes.
I think that's a perfect way to end this season. Guys, it's been a rough season for the show.
It sucked.
Becca was not good.
No.
But I do think that it was redeemed because I think that we had a great group of guys. I really do think we had a great group of guys.
They were pretty cool, and a little credit to ourselves. We're like 3 Jesuses. We made wine out of water.
3 Jesuses. You hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not sacrilegious because obviously there weren't three Jesuses.
Yeah.
Hey, but let this be a lesson to the Bachelor producers or casting people. Like, hey, pick better, dudes. And, like, you know, when you're picking the Bachelor now, like, spend a little time with it. Let it breathe. There's been some calls to bring back Peter. Dylan will love this. Don't just, like, bring people like Becca. She was horrible. She's not attractive. She was not good. She wasn't interesting. I never want to see a person like this on TV again.
That's the show. It's been a great season with hanging with you guys and gals in your ear pods. We're going to be back very, very soon because for some reason, that fucking mouse over at Disney and ABC, they've chosen to immediately launch into Bachelor in Paradise, and we will be covering that episode by episode.
And it's 4 hours a week.
Yep, we're aware.
Sometimes 5. We kind of decided off mic, of course.
What do you mean sometimes 5?
Like a 3 and then a 2, I think, towards the end of the season.
I'll kill myself.
Oh, God. Guys,
Another statistic for your hometown.
we cannot thank you enough for listening throughout the entire season with us. The Facebook group has just ballooned. It's blossomed into a wonderful ecosystem filled with baby birds. Join us there at facebook.com on the internet. What else do they type in?
Another Bachelor podcast.
And then on Instagram, where do they find us?
Another Bachelor podcast.
Also, remember to jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. Make Pat happy. Don't make him angry. And Vascular. Katie, we cannot thank you enough for joining us. You've been a delight.
Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Follow her on Instagram at Kaiti Bennett, KAITIBENNETT.
Nobody ever spells my first name right. Thank
He's
you, Nick.
very,
I got a weird I got a weird visual thing when I
He's very, very good at spelling. It's the lowest form of intelligence. But also, you have a podcast, right?
Oh, yes, I do. It's called Bachelorette Weird.
Why do you call it that?
Because every week we bring a different story. One story's bad, one story is short, one story is weird.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's not that,
It's like the moth.
Give us a 15-second synopsis of specific story.
Oh, one time I went on a terrible date with a magician. One time my date killed himself 3 days before our first blind date.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Guys, that's us signing off. We'll see you very, very soon for Bachelor in Paradise. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Bye, baby
Katie,
birds.
say
Bye, baby birds.
Katie, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.